Hello, today's video is the Honda CR125 power valve installation. So on the Swedetech power valves, I'll post a link below to our shopping cart so you can buy them directly. But on the Swedetech power valve stuffers, we utilize an O-ring in the groove. So before you put the O-ring on, what you want to do is you want to check your cylinder for any damage, imperfections. You also want to do a dry run without the O-ring. Make sure the stuffers slide in. Make sure they're nice and flush. So if you're running a stock moto cylinder, you want to do all your blending outside of the cylinder. If you don't have the proper tools, you can send the cylinder to Swedetech. Sorry, I'm trying to do this live and people are texting me already. So you want to do a dry run on the stuffers. You want to make sure they sit how you desire the blend to be. Again, if you don't have the proper tools, you can always send the cylinder and your stuffers to Swedetech. We can blend them for you for a small fee. On the shopping cart, we do have pre-blended stuffers that will drop into most stock cylinders. If you have a modified cylinder, it is best just to send the cylinder to us and let us blend the stuffer to the ported cylinder. So again, you're going to do a dry run. Now, the Swedetech stuffers are directional, so you want to make sure you do a dry run. So that's the proper side there. And so I'm dealing with the right side of the cylinder, so that's the right stuffer. So just to show you what happens if you put the wrong one in, this is the left side stuffer going into the right side cavity. And as you see, you got a little piston stop in there, so you don't want that. And as you can also see, it actually went in. So there's nothing to stop it from going in backwards. So make sure you don't put them in backwards, because once the O-rings are on, then they're a hassle to kind of tack out or tap out. So again, you want to do a dry run. No O-rings. Do the dry run. That's the wrong side. That's my left. So you're going to take that, put on the left, look for the blending, look for the fit. Everything looks good. Drop those out. So we're going to put that on the left. So you're going to have your stuffer. You're going to have the O-ring. Now, you have to be careful with the O-rings. I have a little bit of lube on there just to keep everything slippery. You don't want to overdo the lube where it's just dripping out of the cylinder because it's just more cleanup. But you want a little bit of lube to facilitate the stuffer sliding in through the bore right here. So the way I like to do it, and bear with me, I don't do these every day. So Vince, our technician, is the one that usually does all these. So you just want to put a little bit of light pressure. I'm right-handed, and so I use my left hand to put a little bit of light pressure on the stuffer. And you want to feed the O-ring around the different cavities. And if the cylinder disappears for a second, it's only because I'm trying to look through the viewfinder and install the O-ring. So bear with me. So you need to work it around. I'm trying to show you. You can work it around there. Now I'm using a sharp pick. I'm not using the pointy part to go in the O-ring. I'm only using it to facilitate guiding the O-ring past the castings. So again, you want to have a little bit of light pressure. And you want to make sure the O-ring is getting through there. So this is, now that was the easy part because that's where, I'm going to put this down. Bear with me. Hopefully my fat head doesn't get in the video. So a little bit of light pressure. Just work the O-ring around the different cavities. And then you'll feel it. Again, you want to use a little bit of lube. Don't force it because you don't want to damage the O-ring. If you do damage the O-ring, you can buy them from Swedetech, that's fine, but then you're going to delay your job. So you just want to work it real nicely, just real carefully. Work it around. And there you go. Now it's starting to go, so that's going to be pretty good. But let's see here. All right, so you can see it right here. The O-ring right there is going to start hitting the cylinder further down. So that's where you really got to be careful so you don't cut it. So you just, again, apply the pressure, and as it gets closer, now you can use the sharp end. Again, don't pierce the O-ring, but you're using this awl or the pick to work the O-ring underneath the casting. Otherwise, it bulges out, and when it bulges out, as you push it through, the cylinder is going to slice that O-ring. So there you have it. So that's nice and snug. There's no tearing. I didn't use a lot of pressure, so I didn't use both thumbs and try to drive it through. I just used one thumb to gently apply pressure while I'm working it through. So that is the installation. I'm not going to do both sides because we're already probably 5 minutes into this video. And then on the set screw here, the set bolt, you want to torque it to 6 to 8 foot-pounds, maybe a little dab of Loctite, some Loctite blue. Once these are in, they really shouldn't be removed. And then you want to check your fit again. That looks pretty good. And once again, so do a dry run, then put your O-ring on using a little bit of lube. I like using gas mix, so I used a Motul Kart Grand Prix just to give it a little bit of lube so it's not dry and it doesn't stick. You want to use a pick to help guide the O-ring through the cylinder, and you don't want to use a lot of force. So I had just a little bit of force with my thumb while I was working it, and then you'll feel it. You'll feel it stop, and then you'll feel it drop right in when it's ready to go. So thanks for tuning in today, and leave your comments below. I'll put the links below for the stuffers on our website. Have a great race weekend.